Something that has to warm up before you use it, sir.
How about your wife?
Hey, yo, what's going on? What's going on? How you doing? Man, I just woke up not too long ago, maybe about 20, 30 minutes ago, and I had to check on appointments and on real life and on Second Life. This right here is Second Life. I'm over at the mailbox, and this is how my day started. Alright? So when I got online, the first thing I saw was Tamar Braxton had gotten dumped by whatever guys she was with. They're two different races, two different colors. And I had talked to my fam. I was like, man, recently a lot of melanated women have been getting dumped or have been their relationships have been breaking off, especially the ones that have been going out with the other race. And so you gotta think about that. It's like, is fall the breakup season? You know what I mean? It's like I know in the wintertime people want to link up. They want to start cuffing so they can, be with somebody and cuddle up during the cold weather. I know that in springtime females want to concentrate on their physique so they can look good in the summertime. But it's like, think about I think we had to deal with, I ain't gonna say we had to deal with, but we had the Keke Palmer situation with her guy. Her guy was talking about he's a traditional male chauvinist. You know what I mean? Talking about, a woman who's a mother shouldn't go out in the streets looking like, or showing off her body parts, wearing revealing clothes, basically. And that relationship ended. Keke Palmer, she really didn't have any fucks about that. She's like, yo, I'm doing me regardless. You had recently we got this rumor report, scandalous report with Remy Ma and Papoose. Remy Ma and Papoose are hip-hop artists, and Remy Ma did some time. She got locked up for like 6 years, and her dude Papoose held it down as far as he went to visit her damn near every day just to make sure she was straight in there, meaning that she was, she had money on her books, and she didn't really need for anything, and that she was emotionally alright to do her time, and whatever else that could mean, right? But she had been out for a while, and Papoose is well respected in the hip hop world. Remy Ma was, she was well respected too. She was with Fat Joe from the Terror Squad, but here recently, she had been rumored to be seen doing extra shit with a guy that's from her battle rap league. Battle rapping is a thing. You know, you gotta look it up and check it out. But I haven't looked for any real statements that she has made to confess that. You know what I'm saying? Or to confess about, anything being a lie. I haven't seen any major video titles. It's just been video titles, about dragging her name in the dirt. Let's see. Of course, we had Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, and when you think about it, Remy Ma and Papoose was the hip hop version of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett before Jada Pinkett had that relationship with that young R&B artist. Everybody thought that Jada Pinkett and Will Smith, was the couple, the image of a good couple. Well, Remy Ma and Papoose, had that same, was on that same pedestal. Let's see, it's just a trip that I had seen that video title. I really don't watch the videos, you know what I'm saying, because I don't like tabloid shit. But I had also ran across some other, of course, I got on here to watch some football too. But I like watching Madden football. Let me pause that, because Braylon Miller and Khalil are both good players, and I had seen Khalil play a guy named Scandalous, Belt to Ass, and they had a 2 out of 3 match. And right here, Braylon Miller and Khalil are having a best 2 out of 3. But I also wanted to watch this video with Rey Mysterio on Kevin Hart's podcast called Cold as Balls. So I went from seeing that and locking that in or putting that on the tab to I seen this title: rappers and NBA players looking zesty these days. And this is Willie D. Willie D is from world renowned hip hop crew called the oh man, he's with Scarface and Bushwick Bill, and they're from out of Texas, the Ghetto Boys. Mine's Playing Tricks on You. Don't. But all three of them singly, have a catalog of music and have a story to tell. Rest in peace, Bushwick Bill. But Willie D has always been a straight shooter, meaning, he's gonna say what it is he wants to say. His opinion isn't goofy, so he's respected on that level, and I like watching his videos. And when it comes down to this subject, of rappers and NBA players looking zesty, I'm like, yo, I really don't need to watch that because I have a pretty strong feeling on what he's gonna say. Cause I'm on that it's crazy to see the way hip hop artists, NBA players, just celebrities, their whole idea of what fashion is has completely changed. You know what I mean? I was born in the late 70s, so or mid 70s. So my generation, we had a bomb ass wardrobe. You know what I'm saying? We looked cool as shit. You know what I'm saying? Our wardrobes changed the way the culture looked. You know what I'm saying? The way we dressed with our baggy clothes and our the logos, not logos, but the brands were being made by us. They were being, you know what I'm saying? They were being shipped all over the world. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. It's like, think about it. Ralph Lauren had Polo. Ralph Lauren made clothes for his race, but when we started wearing it, it was making him more money, and it was bringing more views to his clothing line. And they got this a culture called the low life. You know, low coming from polo, but the low life, and it's people who wear nothing but polo. They gotta have something polo on every day. They're collectors of polo gear. Anyway, what I'm talking about is in the 80s, you know, our style was relaxed, fit type clothing to baggy. All the Our clothes was like too baggy to even sag, but sagging came in, and I never liked that. I never really liked that. There's been a lot of people that said that looks suspect. A bunch of men walking around showing half of the crack of their ass around other men. It's like, why would you do that? You know what I'm saying? You're not going to attract a decent woman. A decent woman is not going to look and say, okay, that's a good, the way that guy is dressing. I would say the brands that he might have been wearing would have been cool, but for the fact that he's showing his ass, you know what I'm saying? That ain't cool. You had drug dealers who wanted to show their ass all the time, and everybody was just like, yo, that's very, very questionable. And then this thing with jewelry, when men started getting both of their ears pierced, I was like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? I understood the left ear getting pierced. I remember I had my left ear pierced too. It closed. I let it close because I wasn't trying to. Basically, I couldn't afford to get good jewelry to go in my ear. You know what I'm saying? We used to get the gold nugget to put in our ear, or it would be a certain sized hoop, a hoop that we would put in our ear, or it'd be some type of stud to put on our ear, and then it went into, bigger sizes of gold nuggets and diamonds. You know what I'm saying? It was like the thing was, if you couldn't afford it, you end up going into your mama's jewelry to get her diamonds and to get her good looking earrings, you know what I'm saying? But then, like I said, men started piercing both their ears and wearing bracelets on both hands, on both wrists. You know what I'm saying? At first, it was like you would wear your watch on the opposite hand, not your strong hand, the one that you write with, but on the opposite hand. And you would wear, um, I think, I think you would wear a bracelet on the hand that you wrote with. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you have a nice looking watch on one wrist, and you have a nice bracelet on another wrist. But then it got to where you start wearing bracelets on both wrists. And I was like, what the fuck is that shit? And then men started wearing tighter clothes and still sagging. And it was like, what the fuck? You know, when I was growing up, we only wore tight clothes because we were growing out of them. We couldn't afford to, buy some clothes that really fit. All right? Now you got to remember, coming from out of the 70s, we were coming from out of segregation and, we were coming out of civil rights. And during the civil rights movement, a lot of melanated people, we wore suits and ties. You know what I'm saying? Button-down shirts, whether it was short sleeve or long sleeve. We had our shirts tucked into our slacks, and we wore hard-soled shoes, like church shoes. We also had our leisure wear. It's like we had clothes that we went outside and we played in. You know what I'm saying? Like after school clothes. And then we had our clothes that we went to school in because you dressed for success. Well, all that shit changed. You know what I'm saying? So now you got all these people, all these men wearing tight clothes and showing their ass. And if you watch the concert, you will see a man taking off his shirt and walking around with his pants damn near hanging down to his knees. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, is that really attractive to women? And then it had to be like, yo, at the end of the day, those same men are going to hop on a tour bus with other men. Now, mind you, there's a lot of stories about the groupie females who got laid and slayed, you know what I'm saying? Who got, sexed up in the hotels or on the tour buses or whatever. So, you take the homosexuality out of that picture real quick. But then you go into, okay, orgies have existed for years, centuries. You know what I mean? Think about the Romans. But you also got to think about the Romans when it comes down to homosexuality too. Because think of all the armies of all these different European countries that would march, you know what I'm saying, for miles and miles. Then they got to camp out. He marched for miles and miles and miles. They plundered, they conquered, they had sex. So it's like so many people, so many of those men were allowed to sex the women that they captured. But in a garrison, not everybody's going to be able to get a woman. So the only way you can get your pleasure is with other men. Alright? Rumor is, at least. And common sense, at least. So this topic right here, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. And then I came across this video. DJ Hannah B. Alright, DJ Hannah B, she is a British plus size model. And that just takes me back to, have you ever heard of the Hottentot Venus? Her name was Sarah. Her last name started with a B. At least that's what the man, her slave owners, had named her. She come from a tribe. She was, kidnapped, taken from her tribe. Well, she had a physical condition to where her lower half was a lot thicker than her top half. And if you look back in history to those Victorian years, women wear corsets and their dresses had a large, big hump in the back. That big hump was fashioned off of this African woman. Okay? And it's crazy that it's like that. So you gotta think, all these thousands of years, European women have been fascinated with having a thick body. And it is in record. Yeah, I hate commercials. So anyway, for a woman to have, for a non-melanated woman to have a big, thick body, we've come across these BBLs. And it's a Brazilian butt lift. And it's like, man, it's crazy. You have so many women that have been body shamed either by themselves or by the men that were close to them, men that they wanted to impress. It's like, take Little Kim's story. Little Kim didn't like her body. She was getting body shamed. And she said the worst thing that she did was cosmetic surgery. Nicki Minaj did the same thing, got cosmetic surgery. And a lot of other people got cosmetic surgery. The thing was folks was looking for that Barbie body. You know what I'm saying? Nice width in the breast size, small waistline, and nice width in the hips. Hourglass figure. The bad thing about it is people over exaggerated with the proportional size. Okay? And so now we look back in the history of cosmetic surgery, and people who couldn't afford the real stuff was going to third world countries, second world countries, and getting these surgeries done, and had bad results because surgeons were putting material into the body that the body rejected. And you had a lot of people who died from it. As a matter of fact, rest in peace to DC Young Fly's baby mother. She passed away within the last year over a cosmetic surgery. She wanted to get her figure back because, she had gain some weight from having kids. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's crazy that we're born one way. Okay, let's put it like this. Basketball players, they're short until they hit puberty. All right? And when you hit puberty, you can grow 5, 6, 7 inches within a summer's time. It happens like that for males and females. All right? And so, along with that, you got stories of females who were like, I was flat chested all through elementary, all through middle school, but the summer before I went to high school, I just blossomed up. Next thing you know, I was thicker than thick. Some females didn't blossom up until they got in college. And then they had all the titties, all the ass that they could ever want. And then you got some females that are like, if you don't got it, then you go buy it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, are you serious, man? Are you serious? And so when you see females like this, you gotta do a little research. And so I looked up, DJ Hannah B before surgery. And, it's kind of like, did she have surgery or not? And her real name is Hannah Olivia. She has a TikTok page. And there it is. She's a British woman with a mixed child. And that's a whole nother topic by itself, because think of all the slaves, or no, let's think past slavery. Let's think about all the Africans that migrated to Europe to get a better life, and they still ended up being put into the whole what you call it, like servitude type of jobs. And it's like, for real, if you left the country, if you left your home because you wasn't making any money, and then you go to these other countries where people are basically making you nannies, making you clean their houses and all that kind of good stuff. It's like, is it really, really worth it? And here recently, I had come across a story where British women were going to Gambia to have sex with Gambian men. Now here it is, these are housewives, women with the money to travel to go over to African countries just to have sex in good times for maybe a summer or for wherever, how long their vacation is going to be. Then they go back. Now they lose a lot of money. They twist the story up and say that, hey, they got scammed. But it's like, you're the one that got money to go spend on these men. So, who's scamming who? But back to, Caucasian women, having interracial kids. It's kind of like, I don't know what it's going to be like in the next 20, 30 years. But with all this interracial relationship, it's kind of like, who's going to breed what race out of what race. Okay? Meaning, for the longest time, Caucasian women have been having sex with their slaves. When slavery was over, Caucasian women still was attracted to the brown man, and vice versa. Now, here we are in 2023. We've dealt with so much racism, so many unnecessary deaths. Emmett Till, the Tulsa race massacre, the what do you call it? The Black Wall Street massacre was started over a Caucasian woman being shaken up in an elevator because the elevator had a malfunction. She screamed, did her yelp, and by the time she got to her floor, it was rumored that the bellman, the brown man that was doing the elevator, had assaulted her. And even though she came to his defense, the general idea was that this brown man, had made her scream on that elevator. And so that's what stirred up the Black Wall Street massacre. You had a bunch of Caucasian people who were jealous of what the brown folks in the next town over was doing and the success that they were having because of the oil that was under their land. And they was able to do and have what Caucasians couldn't have. It's crazy. So as far as what I'm talking about is whose race is going to breed out the next race, part of the design that racism has caused is that if you can't beat them, you breed them out. So if you're a Caucasian society and you go into another society, well, you have sex with their women to put your bloodline into those women to make their kids look a different race. And you keep doing that until that other race don't look like themselves. And then you take their education away, you take their history away, so they don't know where they come from. They don't know their ancestral background. All they know is the dominating race, the history from the dominating race. So that design right there is still happening, except for now you have sympathizers that, let's say you have Caucasian sympathizers who would rather take on the culture of brown folks, and they're having kids. You know what I'm saying? You have Caucasian females who are still having sex with brown men because they no longer want to identify with the Caucasian society that caused so much damage to the rest of the world, or to this culture that they have taken on with endearment. You know what I mean? It is a crazy, crazy, fucked up thing. But here is the twist, and this is what's going to end this video. At one point in time, before The continents were divided. There was one single race that came out of Africa. Do your homework, do your research, and ask this question. Which continent has all the evolution? Did all the evolution come from? Wait a minute, no. Which continent has the most stages of evolution found within its soil? And when I say that, is that mankind has evolved, you know what I'm saying? We were a lesser, our skeleton frame has evolved. You know what I'm saying? The sizes of our brains have evolved. Our facial structure has evolved. Our posture has evolved. Our arms and leg width has evolved. All that stuff has evolved. Alright? So it is rumored that Africa has all those skeletal remains and the evolutions in it. But when you look around all the surrounding continents, you might find one or two phases of evolution found, in the skeletal remains. But Africa has the most evidence of evolution. So when you think about where mankind came from, you can only guess. You can only think. You can only get facts that it came from Africa. Now, while all the continents were together, mankind evolved. I mean, not evolved, but they migrated. They moved around. Not only did they move around on land while the continents were still together, just like the migration of animals. It's like you find tigers in one place, lions in another place, leopards in one place, you know what I'm saying? Koalas in one place. And it's like because they couldn't travel anywhere else. There was no other place for them to migrate. When you watch that movie Lucy, it is a strong statement said that when a species finds a place where they can't evolve, there is no comfort to evolve, they take on a survival, their whole survival technique is dealing with immortality. What do they have to do to make sure that they exist? And it deals with immortality. But when a species finds a place that is comfortable and they can settle down, then they go into a process of reproduction. So what I don't understand is why, okay, I keep saying I don't understand, but I basically understand. Why did people leave out of Africa? But then I understand that because if you don't like being around somebody, you move the fuck on. But then humans have a natural curiosity. So when I say that I don't understand, I gotta keep reminding myself that people have a natural curiosity. Alright? And from that migration, people evolved even more to the elements that they were moving into. You know what I'm saying? They had to evolve, for nature's sake. And so it's funny how here in America you got people talking about keeping immigration or stopping immigrants from coming into the country when this country was colonized by immigrants. Damn near everybody here came from somewhere else. Alright? When it comes down to Africans, you gotta remember this. Africans enslaved other Africans. Africans sold Africans into slavery. Africans traveled following the currents. They traveled into the Caribbeans. They traveled into the South Americas. They traveled over here into the North Americas. Before the continents broke apart, they traveled. They walked. You know what I'm saying? From the Russian area to the Canadian area, back down from Canada to North America, they walked. You know what I'm saying? And even then, they still walked from the Canadian area back over into the Asiatic areas. You know what I mean? You could walk. It takes years to do it, but what else were we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So, since people can't do a DNA background check to take them back that far to before the continents broke apart, they don't know their original ancestry. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's fucked up how someone will say, go back to where you come from, when it's like, yo, you don't really know where you come from. And with all the mixed breeding that has happened throughout the years, you know what I'm saying? If you don't do a very, very detailed DNA check, you'll never, ever really know where you come from. So while Americans are trying to stop other people from coming into America, they have to look at themselves and be like, why are you doing something so heinous, so nasty, so vile to other people, but you didn't want them to do that to you or your people? It's fucked up. But anyway, I ran my mouth. I got it out of my system. Now it's time for me to play some video games. I was gonna do a DJ set, but I changed my mind. I'm gonna go ahead and get some gaming in real quick. You know, my fam has the house quiet, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that time to get me some gaming in, play me some 7 Days to Die. But I know I talk a lot of shit, and this is my disclaimer. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I'm not the dumbest person either. I've done my research on some things, and there's a whole lot of shit that I want to do my research on. Check this out. Hold on. When I say I've done some research on some things, you know, when I was really doing research on things, you know, I saved information so I can come back to it. And, you know, it's like, look at all these words that I didn't know, but I looked them up. And there's just a lot of information, like world history timeline, and from ancient history, which you'll wish you'd known. You know, the Willie Lynch letter, information about the United States, even stuff like tips to get rid of ants. You know, the timeline of slavery in America, the wages of whiteness, race, and the making of the American working class. You know what I'm saying? The black body as souvenir and ancient lynching. Is that souvenir? Anyway, there's some things that, you know, like the Nat Turner confession. You know, there's information out there, y'all, and it's up to you to really look for it. But best believe that if you don't get an original copy of something, it's been tampered with. So when I say that I've done my research and that there's a whole lot of stuff out there that I can still do my research on, well, I don't trust everything that I read because it's been tampered with. I believe it's been tampered with. You know what I'm saying? So be careful with your research. You know, they say that if more than one person, if more than 2 to 3 people are saying the same thing, then it's got to be true. Well, you got to take that with a grain of salt. All I can say is be careful what you do your, you know, where you get your information from. All right. With this disclaimer, I'm asking you to question everything that I'm talking about. Do your research on everything that I'm talking about. Form your opinion on everything that I'm talking about. And most importantly, share your opinion with other people, because you never know when somebody else has been thinking about the same shit that you're thinking about or had thought about, but they didn't have anyone else to talk to. And it's fucked up to feel alone when you're in a crowded room, meaning you're the one person that's thinking something on a certain level, but everybody else is looking at you like you're the weirdo because you're the only one thinking that way. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of geniuses that have gone through that. I'm not one of those geniuses, but I know what that feeling is. So when you share your opinion with other people, you just never know who might agree with your opinion. You know what I'm saying? It's like that Willie D video. You know, it's like he's sharing his opinion. He got 17,000 views on here, and more than half of these people agree with what he has to say. So if he did not post this, folks would not have known that he was thinking about whatever he was thinking about on the level that he was thinking about. Now, does that make sense to you? I hope it does. So question things, do your research on the things that you question, form your opinion on the research about the things that you question, and then share your opinion with people. Share where you got your information from, so that way they'll have that information and they can share it with other people. Knowledge is power. We want to end everything that's causing a problem in the countries that we live in. We want peace and harmony. I don't care what a person's color is. I don't care what sexuality they choose. You know what I'm saying? We all want peace and harmony. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the foundation of life. Peace and harmony. And knowledge gets us there. Unity gets us there. I talk about community. You got to be with like-minded people. We all got to want the same thing in order to unite as a community. I remember when the community was so close that kids were trusted to be outside because pedophiles were not allowed within that community. Neighbors knew who their neighbors were. On that street, on that block, on your street especially, you knew who your neighbors were. We shared food with each other. If you didn't have sugar and you needed sugar, you could walk up and down the street and ask your neighbors for some sugar or some milk or some ingredient that you needed that you just couldn't afford to go to the store to get. And you paid it forward. Whenever you got something, you helped out that person that you borrowed something from. You know what I'm saying? Communities used to be tight like that. But the government came and fucked all that up. Because there's a whole thing dealing with the people who have shit in the world. They want to keep that. And when they look down at the folks who don't have shit, they want what they want. They still want to have everything. It's kind of like saying, yo, we are the elites, and the folks who don't have shit are making us look bad. We don't want to look at that shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like they don't want to look at poverty. You know what I mean? It's like, it's fucked up. You cause poverty, but you don't want to look at it. It's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's fucked up. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. My name's Podrey. You know, check me out on my channel, Growing with Podrey. Hold on. Check me out, Growing with Podrey. And I got my other two channels, Podrey Smurf, which is a gaming channel, and my Podrey channel, which is a channel for the lovers of beauty. You know, I post pictures and video clips of successful, beautiful people, women. So if you're into any of that, you know, check out my other channels. But I appreciate your time. And like I said, I want you to have a good day. I want you to have a good night. I want you to have a good morning. Peace.